The Garrett Perry Podcast, take 25. We have Dwight Scott, the Wolfman, Wolf in studio.
Hi, Garrett.
Hey, it's great to see you. Great mutton chops.
Hey, thanks, buddy. I'm working on them for a play.
Oh, nice. Is that the Nightmare not the Nightmare Before Christmas, the Christmas
Carol.
A Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol at the Playhouse, in December. So I'm getting a head start.
Nice.
I'm hoping they're real, real bushy.
What character do you play?
Oh, I got a couple of different roles.
Oh, really?
Bit parts. The Undertaker is the part that I have. I'm a party guest, and then I do a bunch of crossovers on the stage during the show. So I get a lot of stage time. And
Judy Russell presents, right? She
correct.
does this every year nearly.
Yeah, she's done it twice before, 2012 and 2014.
Oh, okay. That's not every year at all.
She does Nutcracker every other year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every odd year is a Nutcracker year. So next year, 2019, will be a Nutcracker year in the fall.
I wonder if she ever gets tired of doing these productions.
Oh, I don't think so. No.
Oh, it must. She always seems so bright and energy and full. I should get her on this podcast.
You
sometime.
should.
Yeah, she'd be a great guest.
Oh, she'd be an awesome guest.
I heard she's really good at talking too, so I don't really have to worry about subjects.
You can find a lot to talk about with Judy for sure.
This is the Garrett Perry Podcast on 88.7 CFUR. As I said, Dwight the Wolfman. How do you do like a Wolfman persona when you're on the air?
No, and I'll give you a little backstory on the Wolfman. Right? How about that?
Wait. Before you get into that, is it just because your last name is Wolf?
Correct. Yeah, and I volunteer at the community station here, the community radio station here in Prince George.
93.1 CFIS, shout out.
Yeah, shout out to CFIS FM. I've been there since 2008.
And you're the go-to guy for Prince George music, as far as I'm aware.
Well, we'll talk about that too. Yeah, I got a couple of homegrown shows that I do on a weekly basis at CFIS, and I really kind of, push a lot of regional music, a big PG focus, and then I cast my net out into the central interior quite a distance as well, just to bring in music and artists from a variety. And if people who've lived in Prince George or who've pass through or have relatives here, things like that, I'll include them as part of it.
As long as it kind of connects to the Prince George story.
Absolutely. So the Wolfman, a few years back, our station manager, Reg Fayer, says, if you guys want to kind of come up with a radio persona, feel free to pick something, right? And because my last name is Wolf, and because the general format for CFIS is, 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s pop, I figured, it's like an homage to Wolfman Jack, but I'm not doing Wolfman Jack or any kind of a cover.
Yeah, you're just yourself.
Yeah, I'm just the Wolfman.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of stuck, and I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I found a Prince George artist that you probably don't play on here. I have a gift for you.
Oh, man. Awesome.
Pink Riot.
Pink Riot. Nice.
That is my band. I'm the lead singer in that band. My buddy Carl Wiesen did a bunch of the other music. Matt Walker from Mateus Rock. He's our drummer.
Yeah.
We're a full-fledged band, yeah.
Nice. Now, is this suitable for radio play?
There's 2 songs on there that isn't. The Sheila Sassy says the B word on it, and Ballad, I think I say dick on it. I don't know if that's all right. You might want to censor that one.
Well, if it's the first, if it's the name of somebody, if you're talking about,
No.
Smith.
No, it's about a dick pic specifically.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, because there's nothing worse than putting a song on the air and then all of a sudden realizing, hey, there's an F-bomb in the middle of it.
Yeah, you hear that a lot on CFUR. I've noticed. I've been listening to it a little bit since I started my show up here, and every once in a while there's a song with the F-bomb, and I get excited. I'm like, yes! But I'm pretty sure that's against community guidelines and whatever.
So let's take 5 minutes and just talk about Pink Riot.
Sure.
And your album, Matching Carpets. So what was your inspiration for putting this CD together?
I was very... on my computer, I had GarageBand, and Carl was doing his own music, Cromarsh, on it, and he was doing all the drum tracks.
Shout out to Cromarsh, great music.
Oh, great music, yeah. And they play the tracks that we recorded around the same time on this station. I don't know if you have the Cromarsh album.
I do. Yes,
it's awesome.
Love it, yeah. Awesome live, too, Carl's. Awesome live.
Fantastic. We haven't played any live shows yet. I don't know what the original inspiration was for it. We're just kind of like...
So what kind of genre is it? Is it punk or
It's kind of
metal?
punk. It's rock and roll, and it's comedy. It's like a comedy album, I would say. But it's all...
Lyrically, it's comedy lyrics. You're kind of making fun of things or kind of self-depreciating humor or stuff like that?
Yeah, a little bit. It's like... but there's also like a Prince George aspect to it. We sing a few songs about Prince George, and then there's the classic sex theme songs. And... yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for that. Wow. You're giving it to me at the start of the podcast. Now I can just get up and leave. You should have saved it for the end. Thanks for coming out, Dwight. Here's your Pink Riot.
I wanted to get it out in the forefront of the beginning of the podcast because no one talks about it. It's kind of like Prince George's best kept secret at this point. We don't have any gigs booked, but I'd like to book one someday.
Well, we'll get it on the air on Homegrown, and that's Tuesday nights at 9.
On 93.1 CFIS.
93.1 CFIS. Oh, sorry. Jeez, what am I talking? Wednesday night at 9. Yeah, Wednesday night. I got to get my days of the week straight here.
You have a Tuesday show at 1 p.m.
Wednesday. Both of my Homegrown shows are on Wednesdays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wednesdays at 1 is Homegrown Lite, which is kind of like easy listening, folk, kind of acoustic stuff.
Right, so probably not a good fit for this project.
No.
Yeah, so it'll get...
But 9 o'clock, look out. 9 until 10 is, like the heavy. And you know what? I'm looking for original rock music in Prince George. If you want to kind of get into the scene and talk about the scene and stuff, I'm looking for more and more original PG rock. Original rock bands coming out of PG, not cover bands, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Have you listened to the classics? There's 2 projects that I could think of off the top of my head. There's a vinyl that was released in the 70s, a Sweet Hostage, with the album Midnight Rider. I think they only have the one. Greg Hoare, he works with the City. He was a part of that band, and his son is in the band Studio 720 as a guitarist there. And for a short period of time, they actually played some shows as Sweet Hostage, but it got a little bit confusing. Yeah, as kind of like an homage to his parents' music and all that.
Yeah. Then they changed their name to Studio 720.
Yeah. That's one JP.
Sweet Hostage V2.
And then there's that's actually on a vinyl. You could find those around. It would be quite a find if you find it in a vinyl pick. I did, and it was really beat up. And then I talked to Greg Hoare about it because I just ran into him at a gas station, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, I found your album." He's like, and he gave me an original copy that was from back in the day that wasn't even opened. So I have an unopened copy, and then I have a copy that I listened to.
Yeah, so that's Sweet Hostage. And what was the other one? Vintage PG rock.
This one was in the 90s, the early 90s. I can never remember. It was either Dixon Jane or Jane Dixon.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll have to dig it out. I'll have to look around.
Yeah, that's a CD.
Dixon Jane.
That was a gift from previous CFIS host Greg the Egg. He found a copy of it and he let me have it. And the album's called This Is Not a Drill. And I looked it up online. It was pretty valuable. I probably could have sold it for $50 to $100 maybe. It was crazy. But those are 2 Prince George hidden gems that you could probably find digging around at.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to get some retro music into my mix on Homegrown.
Yeah, I'll gladly lend you my copy of Dixon Jane. It's in my car right now. And
all right, well, we'll check it out afterward. Nice.
Yeah, for sure. And then and also I don't know how you get. I guess it'd have to do a vinyl rip for the Sweet Hostage. I don't think there's any digital copies, CDs or nothing. It's just that's
probably not, eh?
Yeah, I think it's the only one release that they did too.
Yeah. Well, nice. Yeah, great. Yeah, so like I said, I'm trying to find, just to kind of round out the music, is to look for some vintage artists. And I put the word out a few times on air, and I'm putting out here right now. If folks in the PG community are listening and they know of, bands from the 70s, 80s, 90s in Prince George that cut some music, right? Produce some tracks, and, heck, maybe they've got a vinyl in their basement.
Yeah, that'd
in
be
the
awesome
milk cart.
if there's some that
or
people don't know about. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, send them my way. The Wolfman at CFISFM.com if you know about some vintage PG rock.
If you're watching this on YouTube at a later date, feel free to comment. I'll pass along the information.
Nice.
No problem.
Yeah, so those are my 2 shows, Wednesdays.
What are some of your favorite artists to play on those shows?
That's a good question, and I'm sensitive to answering that question because I don't want to, not kind of give love to people that I don't mention because I can't remember the names or
right. Yeah,
it's kind of tough, but there's lots of great artists performing and recording in and around Prince George these days. Some names that always come to the front of the mind. Sort of the alumni from Black Spruce Bog.
Yeah.
They've all pretty much stepped out in their own way and are producing fantastic music on their own.
And Saltwater Hank, Danny Bell.
Yeah, Amy Blanding.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. they've got some good music out. I just got Danny's CD not too long ago, a few months back. He had a CD release concert down at the Legion. Went and checked that one out. Danny Bell and his Disappointments.
I saw you there. I was there.
Yeah, exactly. That was a great night, right? And
everybody was packed. It was
packed.
Crazy. It was so hot in there. I had to go out for. I didn't smoke a cigarette, but I was like, I'll go out for a cigarette just to cool down. It was really hot in there.
Yeah.
There's a show going on later tonight. Children of the Wave, a Prince George Black Sabbath surf cover band.
Yes, I saw Children of the Wave at Music on the Meadow up in Fort St. James back
Music
in
on
August.
the Meadow, Mom
Festival.
Back when it was, after they left the mountain, I guess.
After they left the mountain, yeah. I saw them there. They were excellent. Probably one of the highlights of the whole festival. For
really?
Me. Yeah.
I'm really excited. I'm going to go check out their concert later on tonight, and I'm not dressing up.
No, I know. This is kind of a Halloween theme down at the Legion, which is cool.
Yeah.
Right? If you want
It's too much pressure to dress up. I'll just say I'm Peter Jackson and get it over with. Don't have to dress up.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, yeah, the Black Spruce Bog alumni are they're producing some really good music here in PG. Britt Meyerhofer, she's got her Good Egg Records here in Prince George. She's a CFIR alumnus too, Britt.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
She used to be the music director, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so she's got a great stable of artists that are part of her Good Egg Records.
She's in the band Crones. They'll also be playing tonight as an opening act she's also in the band Children of the Wave, so it's kind of like a double shot of Britt Meyerhofer and Nathan Kelly.
Yeah, and Danny Bell, he plays drums in Children of the Wave as well, right? So, he's pretty cool. He plays so many different genres of music. Like, he's amazing. I think. So shout out to Danny Bell for, playing the rootsy, folky stuff and then doing surf-tastic, Black Sabbath covers too.
And then is it Naomi Kafka? That's going to be.
Kafka,
might as well shout out the rest of the band.
Yeah, and Nathan Kelly on vocals. So there you go. That's Children of the Wave.
Are you going to go to that show tonight?
I'll probably poke my head in the door. Yeah, check it out.
Right on. I'll see you there.
Yeah. Yeah. So what else? You mentioned Matthias Rock. Every now and then those guys put out some new music.
Yeah, they like really to do singles these days.
Yeah, really dig their sound. They're also an energetic live band. If you ever get a chance to see them, they don't come out that much.
Yeah, Matt mixes all their music, and it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, I like they're like like the epitome of a hard rock band in my mind. Every time I listen to their songs, I'm saying, man, they've got all the elements of what I like about, hard rock music or rock music built in, right? Sometimes there's some heavy keyboards in there. Lots of times there's heavy guitar, and it's just, they just produce it in a way that it just, to me, it smacks of, rock and roll, right?
Yeah. There's this another band in town. I don't think they play anymore, but Meat Monster, they had some great mixes for I think they only released singles as well. They had their CDs only had 3 tracks on them, but they're always killer tracks. I can't even remember. I think the guy's name was Lance. I don't even remember his last name, but he looks like a surfer. Like, he belongs on the beach. He's got the acid wash jeans.
Oh yeah. Another band that I've always liked, and they don't put out as much music, or I don't even know if they're together anymore. That was Highball Riot.
Highball Riot, I've heard of them. Yeah. There was a shot of them in the Treasure Cove Casino commercial on TV. There's a quick shot, like local music, and then I believe it was Highball Riot.
Yeah, they had that Summertime, that sort of that kind of reggae ska kind of hit that they put out a few years back. They got some funding from Telus and put out a really cool video for it and stuff like that, and had the single produced really well. Yeah, real nice summery kind of a tune, and they show up every now and then. Maybe not lately, but they used to pop up at like the PGNE and the BC exhibition and the the Prince George Northern exhibition or whatever.
And then we see the Statistics will play that every year too, without fail.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good rock and roll bands that are doing some original stuff, and also kind of doing lots of covers and stuff like that, working the clubs on weekends and stuff like that around.
Yeah, every time I see Mike Vigano, he seems to be playing in a cover band, but he's an original guitarist as far as I could tell. He's really good.
Yeah, he's really good, and he has a CD of his own that he put out a few years ago now. I had him on my radio show, and he was talking about putting out this great CD, and it is great. There's some really I wouldn't call them heavy metal, but they're really
high energy,
flashy.
It felt like a Judas Priest song.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
was really good.
Exactly.
Yeah. The vocalist he had on that CD, I don't know who he was, but he blew it out of the water.
Yeah, totally. I'm trying to remember his name because Steve Lay or something like that, or yeah. So Mike does some acoustic song, or sorry, not acoustic, but instrumental tunes, and then he kicks it with this gentleman on vocals. And I think he's from out west, out Terrace Way or Smithers Way or something like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the vocalist that he had for those tracks. Yeah. Yeah.
You're listening to the Gary Perry podcast on 88.7 CFUR. The Fur. We got Dwight, the Wolfman Wolfe in studio. So you're also an actor. We also said at the beginning of the show because of your mutton chops.
Yeah.
Were you part of the Jeff the Ninja?
I did get a yes. The Jeff and the Ninja. Shout out to John Chuby and his crew for putting together that terrific set of I guess little vignettes or little mini episodes. Right, I think they put 6 of them together.
Oh, cool!
If memory serves, and they had their kind of world premiere back in late September at the Prince George Playhouse, which was a really fun night. There's a lot of people there, and they ran through all of the episodes that they had produced, and it was a blast. So I got a couple of bit parts, little extra parts in a couple of the episodes. So it was kind of neat. And lots of people got in it just because they knew John or were around or something like that. And it's fun to watch, and you kind of see these places in Prince George, and you go, "Oh, I know that place." Right? Even though it was converted over to Anywheresville, burger joint, right? But hey, I know where that place is and stuff.
Yeah, I had the same experience when I was cast in the movie Hello Destroyer. I had a really small part. I played man number 3.
Yeah, but you stood out, man. Like I remember you in that movie.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
I missed the main release when everybody was there, the first one, because I had to work.
Oh, that was.
But they had a second screening of it, and there was like 17 people there that time, so it was a little more intimate. It was nice. And then the movie stopped about 20 minutes in. It was like, technical difficulties.
Yeah. I remember that scene. I remember the scene that you were in. You didn't, your presence was, what that scene was all about, right? Because this guy was looking to scrap, and then you kind of stepped into the frame, and it was like, okay, no way, I'm not going there.
That movie was awesome. It was a pretty dark movie.
Yeah, where'd you guys film that? You filmed that scene at the diner up there in 15th, right? Camelot. Yeah.
It was cool just seeing little scenes like that. They're the big scene that they did at the CN Center, that big hockey scene. I think they brought 2,000 people ended up showing up for that. Did you show up for that?
I didn't get a chance to go out.
You could see me in that scene too. Really, there's a quick, when he's skating by, getting put into the penalty box or whatever. Yeah. You could see me really quick. Don't blink.
So when you did that scene at the Camelot, what time of day did you film that?
It was late at night. I think we showed up around 8 o'clock. It was already dark, and we were there for a couple hours. They fed us some jambalaya. That was awesome. It was good food, and it was a good time all around.
Nice.
They cut out my big moment where I was supposed to where I kind of glare behind me and look at the guy. That was...
Oh, yeah.
Big moment.
That was your big moment, eh? And they cut it. It ended up on the cutting room floor.
But the scene still works.
It does. Yeah, it totally works. Nice. Yeah, so there's a lot, that's the other thing about PG is there's always something like that going on around town,
Yeah, the Pink Riot, actually, now that we think about it, it started off as a movie project I was working on. I wrote a script, and we never got around to filming it. So maybe in the future, we have the CD, we have the majority of the soundtrack down.
You do. You totally, all you have to do is kind of, put some, some words in around there, and you've got yourself a whole hour.
The people wrote into the script, there's a couple extra characters I guess we're going to have to potentially cast if we can't get the real people to do it. So I'd say expect a phone call one day from me.
Oh, nice. Yeah, well, that's cool. I'm always up for doing stuff like this because it's fun. It's fun to do. You're as busy as you want to be in Prince George.
Yeah.
Right? That's the bottom line.
I wish I was...
No excuse for saying you're bored in this town.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that, but they don't do anything. It's like there's always events going on, like Mad Loon always putting on those shows at the Legion. Those are always a good time. That's my go-to.
Yeah.
Unless it gets too popular, then it's like,
Yeah, it depends on who's playing, but there's lots of great stuff happening between now and Christmas time around this town for sure.
Oh yeah, Rochelle Van Zanten played the Legion not too long ago, and I guess there was just so many other events happening. That was the same event that the figure skaters were here, like Elvis Stoico and all those people.
Up at the CN Center there, yeah. Well, last weekend not to want to date stamp this podcast or anything like that, but the 20th, the last Saturday, there was like 6 or 7 things happening around, right? All the same night, right? There's like 52 Saturdays in a year. And 7 or 8 things just happen to land all on this one night.
Yeah, and you have to make your choice, whether if you want to go in the first place, and then like, what are you going to go to? Is like,
it was
can't
hard.
do it all. Yeah,
it was hard. Some hard choices had to be made. Plus, it was an election night.
Right, everybody. Right? I remember.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, the downtown was just hopping because all these after parties were going on with candidates, and then there was bands playing here, there, and everywhere, and yeah, a lot of fun.
That's fantastic.
So you're doing this podcast. You're talking up Prince George and surrounding area.
Mm-hmm.
What made you kind of think about doing this?
It started off that I had this camera that we're being filmed on right now, and I wasn't doing anything. I didn't have any film aspirations or anything. So I started doing the podcast with it. But I also started the podcast a couple episodes before I brought in the camera. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, the first couple episodes are just poems. I wrote a bunch of poems, and I picked out my favorite, and I read them out. I've never had any feedback on any of my podcasts, so I don't know. I just kind of put it out there, and not very many views. Just keeps me busy more than anything.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually, I started having guests. Joe Daniels was my first guest on episode number 9. And then I did a movie, a little short documentary feature for my 10th episode, like a little 10-minute thing of my trip to Kitwanga when I went back home. Mm-hmm. And then I took a long time off. I was like, I just felt like it concluded itself. Mm-hmm. And then got bored again, I guess. I wanted to have more conversations within the podcast as opposed to just like sitting there talking by myself, which I found very frustrating and hard to do.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned Joe Daniels. I came up to this campus just for kind of work-related stuff a couple of times in the last month, and both times that I came up, and I was going to trying to find parking space, and who do I see in his vehicle but Joe Daniels?
No way,
right? And then I said to myself, I got to get him on my radio show.
Yeah,
because now he's in PG, right? And I saw your video cast, your YouTube.
Did I do GP Does PG or the podcast?
The thing was one of the two with Joe.
Yeah.
Right? And, last I saw of him was in Smithers with the community station out there.
Oh, CICK.
Yeah, he did that nice set out there in their...
in their train.
In their freight car or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is actually quite a cool concept that they got going out there for live music.
Oh, totally.
Right? And they put the live broadcast up on Facebook there, Facebook Live with them. Yeah, so he's in town. I got to get him on my show because I want to know where he's playing, who's he playing with, right?
He's playing with Carl a little bit right now. I believe they played Busker's Corner not too long ago, and then they had Justin Garden who, I know they're just jamming. I guess is like behind the scenes. They're just kind of like working together a little act and putting on. So we'll see where it goes. I'm excited to see them play live again because I remember seeing both Joe and Carl play back in the day with Blind Vinyl.
Blind Vinyl, exactly. Same.
Yeah.
Same. That's kind of how I met Carl and Joe. Yeah. Again, that was Music on the Mountain up in Fort St. James.
Yeah.
One of the first times I was up there, those guys played.
Back when it was on a mountain.
Yeah. Back when it was on a mountain. Yeah. Yeah. No, good time. Yeah. So what else is keeping you busy besides this podcast?
My little YouTube series, I guess it's on Facebook, the GP Does PG, where I get my little documentary crew together. It started off, I shot everything myself, but then one of my coworkers, he's big on sound and sound design. He offered to help do some sound work, so instantly, like, the production of my show, GP Does PG, went really, like, it just got like 100 times better in my opinion. And then I brought on that was Nolan Allen. He'll be my next week guest hopefully. And then Devin Kavanagh I brought in. He's he's my camera guy now. Nice. When we could get him. If he's not available, I'll have to do it myself, but it's a lot nicer to have that crew and just have that collaborative process that I've never really experienced that well before because I was so ambitious. I wanted to do everything myself.
So now you're just kind of spreading the wealth around a little bit, and it's raising the bar.
Yeah, exactly. And I get to relax. My job got easier too in the process.
Nice. Yeah, and those other folks they want to learn and grow and contribute too, right? So makes for a good mix.
Yeah, we did. I don't know if you ever saw the Garrett and Carl show we did back in the day. I think we just released it on YouTube. It was originally supposed to be for Shaw Cable 10, but I really am interested in bringing that back, but bringing it back with my crew, because I watched an old episode and I wasn't too, like, it's like when I did every aspect, I was recording the audio, recording the video, and hosting it. It's like every aspect suffered.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of want to be able to just kind of focus in on one and do it well.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why I'd like to do that. And but I want to make it more music related, because we did this little segment in not all the episodes, just when we had musicians on. We did jamming with Carl. And I'd just like to make that the show, pretty much. Just kind of have a little bit of talk before Prince George talk if we have to, and then kind of just get right into a studio kind of environment.
Yeah, and play some music and
then continue the conversation between songs.
Nice. Yeah, it's nice when people do that and, post it for posterity's sake.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's on, once it gets on the web, it's on the web forever, right? Right. And down the road, someone will say, oh, yeah, I was in a band, when you're old and you're crotchety, oh, yeah, I was in a band back in the 2000s. And then your grandkids say, really, Dad or Grandpa? And you go, yeah, here you go. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan. Hopefully these videos last on YouTube forever. Because I was looking at, like, speaking posterity, like, looking at some of the stuff I did in high school, and when I'm not totally embarrassed by it, it's really cool. It's almost like just home movies to an extent.
Yeah, down at some point in time, you get a little nostalgic and you say, man, I wish I had some audio of, a distant relative or something like that. Somebody that's not here anymore.
Right.
You kind of.
Yeah. In my 10th podcast, I went and did an interview with my grandma, because she was getting up there in age and she passed away not too long ago. So it's kind of nice to go back and just see her and have a video of her in her natural environment kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah. Because you'll cherish those memories. Right. And that's the way that you can kind of fix those memories. Right. Is by having those podcasts or those YouTube channels and stuff like that. Neat. Yeah. So, Pink Riot. Why the name Pink Riot?
We were trying to think of a name for a band, and we're looking for a comedy band. And I believe Carl suggested Pink Riot, and it sounded like a rock and roll band. And
yeah,
I don't know, it's kind of maybe an homage to Pussy Riot.
Right. And matching Pink, it's comedy. Yeah, I get it. Pink Riot and the band and the CD's matching carpet.
And then I painted. That was actually, I've made a full vinyl size of that, so I painted over this old vinyl with this pink color, and then we got a little bit of extra carpet from where Carl used to work installing carpet, and chopped it up and made a little landing strip. The original idea was to have it completely all carpet, but I think there was just going to be too much carpet.
Too much carpet, yeah. So let's talk about your cat paintings. Have you talked about your cat paintings on a podcast yet?
I painted one of them on one of my podcasts. My guests didn't come through, so I was like, oh, what am I going to do for this hour? I was thinking of bailing, so I brought up my painting supplies and I painted it live on the radio. So the people listening at home were like, what the heck is going on?
What's that sound? It's the sound of brush on canvas.
Yeah, I mic'd up the canvas. Canvas. So that was the 96. I was going
to ask you, what number was that?
That was number 96.
Number 96, yeah.
I've painted number 97 since then. There's 2 left. It's for my goal of... Wait, 2 left.
Yeah.
Because I found a painting that I did years and years ago that technically should be number 2, so I'm saving it for number 99. So I have number 98 to do, and number 100.
So what's the... Now, you have all of these canvases, right? You're not painting over them.
Yeah.
You have all these canvases.
Right.
So what are you going to do with these canvases when you get to 100?
I believe the plan is to have an art show and then sell them.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, are you going to have an art show? So where is it and when is it?
I don't know. I think I have to finish first before we get to that.
Okay, but don't you... Yeah, okay, fair enough. So when do you think number 100 is going to be done?
I don't know. I'm kind of like...
Don't push me. Don't pressure me, Dwight. Don't make me kind of...
I don't want to finish is the problem. I kind of like this journey so far, and just like... I don't know like how it's going to feel to be done, like this epic process. I assumed it was going to take me 3 months when I started, and that was like 2 or 3 years ago now.
So when you're done cats, you're going to switch to trees or...
The joke is intermission time.
Intermission. So for those of you that aren't listening, aren't able to see this, he was just touching the camera. They're doing
just
something
setting it up
camera.
again. It stops after 30 minutes.
Oh,
The joke is that I would paint 100 dogs afterwards.
Oh, I see.
That was about number.
Your next muse is going to be dogs.
But I'm not going to do that. I think I might just continue it on and keep painting cats. Very early on, I was like 20 in. I think Carl suggested that I paint a dog, and I think I had a mental breakdown because I just started laughing so much. I don't know what was so funny about painting a dog, but I guess after painting that many cats, you kind of lose your mind.
Well, I mean, I've seen a lot of the pictures because you posted them online and social media and stuff. There's kind of a theme to a cat face, right? Now, dogs, there's so many different varieties of dog face. So you could be long and big and bushy
right. You
and
could be like
stuff
a
like
pug. There's like different breeds. When it comes to a cat, I guess there's different breeds, but who knows?
Yeah, totally. But everybody you can kind of frame a cat face kind of a certain way stylistically and kind of go with that the whole time, right?
Yeah.
If you were to choose a dog, what would be the dog? What kind of?
I think it might be. I don't know. I had a little, like a mutt dog growing up, but it was orange in color. It kind of looked like a fox. Might try to recreate his face, or a black lab, which I also had growing up.
Cool.
And then we had a husky later on in life. And now my mom has chihuahuas after that. Too big of a dog. Now she's going to her little tiny one.
Gone 180. The pendulum swings.
Yeah, because it's nice because that big husky dog would be a mouser. It would hunt all the mice around. And we didn't realize how big of a problem they were until she passed away. And it was like we had a winter without her. And then the snow melted. There was little trails all around in our yard. It's like, oh, that's where the mice kind of made trails.
They were burrowing under the snow all winter long,
and
hiding.
The dog used to just eat them, I guess.
Root them out and deal with them.
Yeah, because
we'd
always
the
see
Chihuahua's getting beat up by these mice.
Yeah, I guess, or the cat has to step it up, or maybe it's just like regular animals that eat mice, like crows or hawks or whatever. Finally could come back to the area and not getting all squeezed out by this dog's terrain.
Nice.
I don't think the Chihuahuas are hunting mice, no.
No, I don't think they're hunting mice either. Yeah.
You're listening to the Garrett Perry podcast on 88.7 CFUR. Dwight the Wolfman. Scott Wolfe.
I'm going to, Dwight Wolfe. And I'm going to spin it back to CFIS for a second.
Sure thing, man.
Because I've been there like 10 years.
Forever.
Since, the radio station started in the summer of 2007. That's when it went on the air. And I came on board in about March, April of 2008.
So you're like the legacy there. Jeez, one of the originals probably.
Getting on, the station manager, of course, has been there since the beginning, Reg Fayer. There's a few other on-air personalities that have been there for quite a while. Corey Walker, Mike Meyer from Mike's Retro Block. Mike's retiring his Retro Block.
Yeah, that's kind of a little disappointing, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do and move on. So all the best to him. Yeah,
all the best to him. I enjoyed it. If you like, 80s and 90s rock, it was great to tune in. And he was, when he had his request hour, he was good for digging out requests that you'd give him too, because I'd phone him up every now and then. I'd say, play Let's Dance by David Bowie, or play some Stevie Ray Vaughan or something like that, and he'd always find it.
Yeah, he was very ambitious. He did his show live for a long period of time. He definitely stepped it up. And
and Corey Perry, of course, he does the Country Cavalcade, and he does the Back Porch Pickin' Bluegrass show.
That's not his name. Corey Perry.
No, Corey Perry's the hockey player. You're Garrett Perry.
Yeah.
And the guy I'm talking about is Corey Walker.
There you go.
There you go. So now it's coming together.
Corey Perry's rhymes.
Thank you for catching that, because it would have just flown right by and I wouldn't have seen it. So,
yeah, Corey Walker. He just ran for school board. He didn't make it in, but he'll be running in again in 4 years, I assume.
Good on him for stepping up and doing that too.
Yeah, I guess when he was running, he wasn't allowed to be on the air for that point in time. Just CRTC regulations and politics.
Yeah,
they got mad.
Rules.
The rules, yeah. The CRTC people were complaining because people were talking about who they were voting for, and Carl was on my podcast with Joe Daniels, and he just randomly brought up who I was voting for. So I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll just tell you. I don't care. It's like, but apparently that's a big no-no.
Yeah, I guess on air because it may be influence.
That's the thing,
Because
yeah.
you know what? People might look up to you, Garrett, and say.
Well, I am pretty tall, and they do usually do.
Yeah, they would. Most people would look up to you anyways, and they say, well, hey, if he's voting for these candidates, then maybe I should be voting because, maybe
But, I don't think I made any influence. I only said 3 names.
Yeah.
And
which shall remain nameless.
who shall be nameless. You have to look at that podcast and see who I voted for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So 10 years, and both of my radio shows have been on the air for as long as for 10 years.
So that's Homegrown, and then your other show is a show about not theatrical, but like
musical theater.
Musical theater. Yeah.
Yes, On With the Show, Sunday afternoons at 2. Right, and I've been doing that. So I just had my 10th anniversary show in early September.
Oh, nice.
For that, yeah. So 1 hour of show tunes. So if you like musical theater, Broadway, the West End, all points in between.
I guess you do specific episodes for shows that are coming up too, right? That or specifically like maybe Judy shows.
Yeah, sometimes I'll do like feature shows where I will kind of set up or advertise for upcoming musical theater productions here in Prince George. Sometimes I'll do a feature show like tomorrow. It's my Halloween show.
Of course, yeah. This is the Halloween show. Ooh.
This is the Halloween weekend, right? Because you don't want to do stuff next weekend because Halloween's over.
Yeah,
right?
and you don't want to do things on Wednesday. That's a work night. So it's like it's the Halloween weekend. Everything's happening tonight or yesterday.
Yeah. So I've got it all set up. I'm going to do the original Broadway cast of Jekyll and Hyde.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it's just a really good show. Really good show from 1997.
What are some of your favorite musical films like that?
Favorite musicals?
Yeah.
My all-time favorite musical is Les Miserables.
Oh, cool. I've never seen that.
I had the pleasure of being in the local production here back in 2013. Judy Russell put it on at the Playhouse.
Nice.
And I got in the cast, and that was fantastic. It was just like, wow, to be in that show. Phantom of the Opera, another great one.
I saw that on Broadway.
Yeah.
In New York. It was awesome.
Yeah. That's the epitome of a Broadway musical.
Dun, 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 dun. I just love that tune. It's just that one line.
There's, every year they kick out so many new musicals. There's a lot of revivals as well and stuff like that. So there's always tons of new music.
Do you have like a hard time getting a copy on the musical recordings?
No, I tend to buy a lot of CDs, right? And I got a bit of a backlog of stuff that I've over the years that I'm kind of working through on my show. Some weeks I'll do a feature cast recording, like tomorrow I'm going to do this Jekyll and Hyde, but other times I'll just do a mix, right? So I'll just grab a whole bunch of songs from different shows and I'll just kind of do like a variety show or a great performances kind of a show, which I'll probably do next week. But this week is Jekyll and Hyde. Last week I did Waitress, which is currently on Broadway. It's been on there for a couple of years now, and I have the cast recording there, so I did that show. And
nice. My favorite musical of all time would have to be Jesus Christ Superstar.
Awesome.
I really love that one. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Somebody gave me like the MP3s to the movie before I even saw the movie, so I got to be associated with the music first, and I think that kind of helped my enjoyment of it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I guess it's technically an opera because there's not very much spoken word at all.
Right, very little. Yeah, so it's a rock opera. Yeah. And then there was that great revival production last April 1st there on NBC with John Legend playing.
Oh yeah, I wanted to see that, but I missed it.
Yeah, it was a live broadcast, and it was great.
Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper was in it. He played King Herod. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, he was pretty campy, but he delivered as Alice.
He's Alice Cooper, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Sarah Bareilles was Mary Magdalene. It was a great show.
Right on. Yeah. Maybe I wonder, they ever release those live TV shows, or is it just like one and done, like live? If you missed it, that's it.
I hope not. I hope it ends up on DVD or something like that, because I'd buy it and I'd watch it again because I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
that's one I'd like to check out again.
Yeah.
That's like a thing that's happening these days, is that they're bringing all these musicals to TV one night only, and it's like a huge deal.
What is today? Today's the
27th.
The 27th. Is it tonight or coming up in the next couple of days? Maybe it's tonight. They're doing NBC is doing a 15th anniversary concert of music from Wicked.
Oh,
the Broadway
cool.
musical. Right?
Nice.
And they're bringing back some of the original cast members, Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel. They're going to perform some of the songs from the, that they sang when they were in the original cast and all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to remember exactly when it was on TV, and I thought I had it written down, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I know they recorded it a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week or so ago in New York, and they're broadcasting it this weekend on NBC. So check your local listings for a time near you. Yeah, so that's my Sunday. That's my Sunday thing is on with the show at 2:00 on Sunday.
So all these episodes, you don't do them live. They're all pre-recorded, right?
Yes, down at CFIS, we pretty much pre-record everything except some of the daytime talk radio that we do. But most of the musical programming is pre-recorded. So I set up my shows ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless something really hits the fan and I absolutely have to go in and do something without a safety net, and then it's just like, what do I do?
Have you ever done much live radio?
I think maybe 2 episodes of Homegrown in the past, in like interview shows where artists have come in and they're like performing that night or something like that, and I kind of try to jam them in. I've done it live, and typically I'll get a producer to kind of work the soundboard for me.
Right.
Versus having to deal with it at the same time, because I don't want to multitask and
do what I do. Do it all.
Do it all. And then that's and then of course once a year when CFIS has its Christmas Eve open house down at the radio station, I sit in on the board.
Right. Yeah, that was fun. I did that one year.
Yeah, I sit in there, and then that's like once a year I get in on the board so I can really make a mess. I don't hit the mute button, or I don't bring up the volumes or whatever.
There's a lot going on. It's easy to make a mistake, play the commercials, or then you play one commercial, but then it pauses because you don't have auto on. It's like,
exactly.
Been there and done that.
Yeah. But it's fun, and I never thought when I've been doing community radio for over 10 years, and I just was a fan. I was just listening to CFIS one day driving around town, and I heard a buddy of mine on the radio, Mike McGuire. I don't know if you know Mike.
I don't know if I do know him.
Here in Prince George, he was on air for a while there with the radio station, and he was former president of the association as well, our society. And then I phoned him on his cell phone. I said, "Hey, Mike, I hear you on the radio. You sound great, I didn't know that you were on the radio." He says, "Oh, yeah, well, let's go have a cup of coffee and talk about it." So I met him for a cup of coffee, and about 5 minutes in, he says, "Come on, I'll take you down the radio station. You can meet Reg, our station manager." Right? And boom, that was it. Get involved.
The rest is history.
The rest is history. Got involved right then and there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've been doing it ever since, and it's a blast. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of your show, Homegrown, that's for sure. I haven't heard almost the show. Has less appeal to me, I suppose. But but Prince George music, I mean, I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, exactly. I can't get enough of it either, because there's always something really cool, and I wish I could tease out some stuff that's hopefully coming down the pipe. But I'm waiting patiently for a power trio in this town to put out their new CD.
A power trio.
A power trio. I dig power trios.
Nice.
Yeah, they're one of my favorites.
What band is that? Or are you not going to say?
Well, it's something that Nick Tyndale's involved with. Yeah.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
I like his music.
Yeah, he plays with everybody.
Yeah, he plays with Studio 720. He took over for Carl when he stopped drumming for him.
Yeah, so next time you see Nick, ask him, okay, what's this power trio thing that's close, but not ready to come out yet?
Right on.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I was talking to Nathan Kelly because he was on my GP Does PG short. He was talking a little bit about releasing some Crohn's CD in the upcoming year.
Mm-hmm. New Crohn's music, great.
Yeah,
looking forward to that. Air Chud is great, a great CD.
It is.
Really enjoyed it.
I think that's the only CD I have of his. Mm-hmm. But there's got to be more, because there's songs that are missing off of it that should be on it. Like I think it's just Whooping Cough. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorites by them. They performed it up at Seafer in this room, I believe, in some sort of special thing. Mm-hmm. They had they were doing some videos up here for a short while. I wish they would continue, but maybe that's up to me.
Yeah. Another. We're back on local bands. Redwin,
yeah,
the Hanson brothers.
I've met them. They were just shopping at Long and McQuaid when I was there. Yeah. I might do a GP Does PG about them someday.
Yeah, you should, yeah.
Matt Walker just sat in on the drums for them for their last gig in town.
Yes. Yeah.
I had to quickly
Yeah,
cram.
he's done that a little bit over the summer. He was out of province with them on a few shows over.
Yeah,
in
I
Alberta
don't
and
think
stuff.
he was playing music. I think he was.
Oh, he was like
doing
their sound guy and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. He was chatting us up. We were up at the BCNE, and he was there working sound, of course, because
that's what he does.
That's what he does. And, and he was telling about his adventures with Redwin over in Alberta. Good times though. Nothing crazy. Just good times.
Right on.
And Red 7.
Red 7.
Do you know Red 7?
No.
You don't know Red 7?
I don't know Red 7.
Oh.
I don't even know if I heard of them. I might have.
Well, I'll flip you a link.
Cool.
Yeah, and check them out. Check them out online. They're heavy rock. Prince George, a couple of brothers, and I forget their names. I apologize on air for not remembering their names off the top of my head. But I dig their music. Yeah, they got some original rock, and they recently just finished or put out a bunch of covers that they've done of some metal artists over the years, and really tight sound, really excellent music. Red 7.
Red 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Some of my go-to bands on Homegrown on Wednesday nights at 9.
Nice.
Yeah. This hour is flying by. There's only 15 minutes left in the hour. I can't believe it.
Oh, snap. You're listening to the Gary Perry Podcast on 88.7 CFUR. Got to get those squeezed in while we can.
Got to get those reminders in.
Mm-hmm. In case you don't remember what you're tuned to.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're watching on YouTube, you're listening to it on YouTube. Or watching it.
I'm trying to think of some bands that I really like that aren't that are part of the broader family of artists in the Prince George region. Right?
Scott Dunbar.
Yeah, Scotty Dunbar. Yeah.
Did you get his vinyl?
No.
It is awesome. I highly recommend it. It was only a short production. I believe there's less than 1,000 of these that are in existence. And I think it's My Boys Are Gonna Play in the Big Leagues is half of the album, and then the other half the album, I can't remember. It's a pretty cocky name. Yeah, it is awesome.
It's not a word that you can't. It's a word that you can't say on radio.
I'm pretty sure you can. I just can't remember what it's called. But it's kind of like you play. There's a song "The Rivers" on there, and that's one of my favorite songs of all time. I'd say. Now I didn't hear it.
Well, you got me really interested, and I'll have to get in touch with Scotty and find out.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's in town.
I haven't seen much of him lately.
I was
Scott Dunbar, if you're out there, message me.
I was going to ask him to be on my show, but then I saw he was touring over in Europe somewhere. I'm like, whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah. He got in on South by Southwest this past
That was
year
a
as well.
huge festival that he got involved with. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I heard about that and was like, how exciting. I'm so excited for him.
Yeah, thinking about The Racket. We all know and love The Racket.
From Hazelton.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Caught them at a house show a year or so ago down at Amy Blanding's house down in South Fort George.
Nice.
They were passing through town. They did a house concert. That's a nice power trio. I love those guys' sound.
Yeah, they played Art Space when they played here last, and they were doing this little tour, and they just kind of announced that they're doing this tour, and their first place they're going to play is Prince George in like 2 days. I think I ended up running the door for them. I think we sold 45 tickets, so they like barely made enough to cover the sound guy, but and the rental, I guess. But it was a good time. They're my close friends, I would say, so it's good just to see them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to new music from those guys.
Yeah, they told me a part of their tour, they were actually going to take a day off, and they booked about like 10 hours of studio time, and they're going to release a single of the Jungle Book, the one that they play live.
Right. Yeah.
They play I can't remember what song it was.
Yeah, some song from the Jungle Book. I know of which you speak. I just can't remember the title.
They played another song too, and then they played Under the Sea too, but it's The Little Mermaid, and it was like, this is such a good time when they play, because they're Disney songs. Everybody loves them, and then they kind of rock it up a bit, and Eli's singing. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Hey, those guys had a little bit of a incident with some of their gear not too long ago.
When they were in Vancouver, a part of their studio, somebody smashed their back window, and they took, I believe it was 2 or 3 guitars. Like, I believe Steve. Oh, his name's not Steve. Always terrible with
You're
his name.
looking over at me going,
The bassist for the band.
Yeah.
It is Steve DeWitt. He lost, like, he had a really nice bass, and it was just like his bass was custom made and really expensive.
There's been an epidemic of that, I think,
Yeah.
or maybe it's just because, I'm familiar with lots of bands, or I follow some Facebook groups or stuff like that. There seems to be an epidemic of
It happened with
gear
in
getting
a higher level with 5440, I believe.
5440,
They
yeah.
lost 7 guitars. I believe 5 of them been returned by now.
Yeah.
But there's legendary guitars.
Yeah. I know. I think it's really sad that that happens. 'Cause
Yeah, you see these postings.
It's tough enough, I think, for musicians to make a go of it out there, than to have somebody smash and grab their gear, right?
Yeah, happened to Simbias Wilson when she was in town. She was just going back to Smithers, but like the day before she left, her guitar was stolen right from her car. It was like that was really upsetting, and obviously, like the Racket losing their gear, that's upsetting.
Yeah.
Thank goodness they didn't lose everything, and
Yeah.
they're able to keep their chins up high, because I saw them. They were passing through, going back to Smithers to play a show. They rented a Gretsch, to replace their guitars, and then they had to cancel the show on their way back because just technical issues with their van. I think their van broke down again.
Bummer.
Yeah.
So the Racket, I dig the Racket. I'm thinking about up in the Peace Country, Folky Strum. You know Folky Strum?
I've heard of them. I've never seen them.
Yeah, rockin' banjo folk
Nice.
is their genre.
That's a
Rockin'
good
banjo folk.
Reminds me of that band Whiskey Fingers that JP and Carl and Ryan White used to be a part of.
Yeah, exactly. I got a couple of their tracks that I have in my homegrown mix. I love it. I love their
It's
stuff.
awesome. I love that. I hope to see them play again sometime. It's a little bit tough with just little situations, just mostly living situations at this point.
Yeah.
But getting together would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Again, thank goodness these guys took the time to record, right, while they were together, right?
Yeah.
So that you have the stuff, right? Because, kind of bands come and they go, right? And they just kind of never get back around because people move on and life goes on, right?
Yeah, it happened with Black Spruce Bog. They were just getting I think they sold out. I had a show where they were like turning away people.
Well, they had their
their
final CD release concert down at the Legion, like their one and only CD release concert for the Hatchery Session,
right?
Which was totally sold out. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, people were saying that they got turned away at the door. It was kind of disappointing, and at the same time exciting that that they could draw this kind of crowd.
Yeah,
and
it felt privileged to be in the room for that, because it was their last show. Plus, it was their CD release.
Their second CD that they released.
Their second CD, the first one Confluence, and the second one the Hatchery Session, which was kind of neat. Yeah. So we kind of come full circle on Black Spruce Bog, talking about them as
kind of hard not to talk about Prince George music without talking about them. They had some TV coverage too when they played the Canada Winter Games. They played.
Yeah.
I got to see them on TV. It's like, what? I guess it was just at the CN Center though, still, but and they I believe they made it political a little bit, and they had a Stop Harper on the back of their guitars, which is kind of cool. I guess maybe they did. They stopped Harper. Didn't get elected.
Exactly.
I don't think it was just them.
We might have had a little bit to do with it, Yeah. Well, that's great. Now, who else? Joey Only. I dig Joey Only's music out of Wells.
Oh, yeah.
Our good buddy Joey Only and his Outlaw Band.
Last album that he put out.
Trouble in the Peace. No more Trouble in the Peace.
That is awesome. Yeah. I've listened to that CD a lot.
Yeah.
I've had it in my car, and it's just like, there's like 3 or 4 tracks that I probably know by heart by now. It's just singing along with it. It's just the one that he has about his friend that went to the Afghanistan and
cowboy, something of the Cowboy Warrior or something like that.
Yeah, that one's a
good song.
Great song.
Yeah, good song. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's been away from the music for a little bit, but I think he's coming back around. I think he's getting some
he was releasing some singles not singles, they're just like YouTube videos of some songs, so it's kind of cool to see those. He was firefighting.
He was out in the bush this summer. Yeah, fighting fires, keeping us safe.
Thank goodness, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Some other, I'm thinking off the top of my head here, Maureen Washington. You know Maureen Washington?
No, but I've heard of her.
Yeah. Prince George gal, born and raised, lives in Victoria now. Awesome on the jazz and blues scene down in the Lower Mainland and Vancouver Island. Like, big following, pretty much does it full time.
Cool.
Yeah, she's got a terrific trio, that jazz trio that works with her on a regular basis. When she comes into PG, she puts on a great show and she sells out wherever when she plays PG.
Right. I've seen her on posters and stuff, and I remember doing like the onstage spotlights at CFIS.
Yeah.
So played some of her tracks. I don't remember really listening to them though.
She hasn't been back through in a couple of years. She came last time she was here. I think she was promoting her Harvest album, her last album that she put out, with a killer cover of Harvest Moon by Neil Young.
Oh, no way.
Oh, yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah, slowed way down, really kind of jazzy, kind of a moody feel to it. Yeah, way different than the kind of ballady, kind of waltzy feel that was part of the original. They really arranged it way different, and it sounds really, really cool. So you should check it out, Maureen Washington's version of Harvest Moon. Yeah, great.
Right.
She's great. She's a great artist. She's a great vocalist. Does great stuff. So shout out to Maureen Washington tonight. Yeah. Trying to think of who else might be top of my mind for people that I like to play. Oh, hey, let's give Jen Jade a shout out.
Jen Jade? I don't know who that is either.
Jen Tucker?
Jen
Town?
Tucker.
Performs under the name Jennifer Jade. Our buddy Nick Tyndale plays drums for her.
Oh, cool.
With her. Yeah, she's got a CD out, solo artist. She teaches at one of the music studios here in town. She teaches vocals. She's a vocal coach or vocal teacher here in town.
Nice.
Check her out, Jen Jade. Get her on your show here, because she's got some good music. Yeah, and at the risk of offending people that I don't mention, I just want to say that you couldn't be in a really more eclectic community for music.
Yeah, there's great music scene here.
80K here in Prince George, but the kind of music that's getting kicked out in this community is really amazing. It doesn't, from people that are in their 70s, for people that are still in high school, kicking it out. I love it. Right? So
thanks, man. This has been the Garrett Perry Podcast on 88.7. We have a few seconds left, a minute maybe. You have any final thoughts?
Well, Garrett, listen, I just want to congratulate you for putting this podcast on. This is your adopted home, here in PG, and you got so much energy and you got so much love for this community that you're doing something like this, bringing people in, talking up the city of Prince George, and I commend you for that, and I'm proud of you for doing it.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man.
And check out 93.1 CFIS Homegrown and Homegrown Lite Wednesdays, 1 p.m. and 9 p.m.
Yes.
And on with the show, Sundays at 2.
Right on.
Yeah. This has been Garrett Perry Podcast, 88.7 CFUR.
Bye now.
Bye.